Hi everyone. We are here again to discuss your course, ITCP 726, Family Systems Counseling. Family Systems Counseling. This morning we'll discuss the meaning and the scope of family systems counseling, the stages of the family life cycle, major events in the history of family therapy, evolution of family therapy, and the early models in family therapy. Family system counseling is a branch of psychotherapy that aligns itself with the familial systems to nurture change and development in individuals. Why family systems counseling? There's a need for family system counseling because we are all born into families, even though we are autonomous individuals. This is a lifelong attachment for most of us, wherever we find ourselves. So understanding family system counseling through assessing the interaction that we have with the families is an important aspect that we all must embrace ourselves to take. Understanding individual through this interaction, as I said, allow us to benefit a lot. So it is important to know that clients' problems in family is not for them themselves, but then it's for the family as a whole. Because the issues that may come in their life could be as a result of a malfunctional family or a dysfunctional family. So families determine who we are, how we develop, and how we give and receive support for our survival. Problems of individuals in the family are often unintentional, but then they receive support from the family. So therefore, family system counseling is a panacea to understanding or to alleviating the problems of people in a family. Remember, most of the issues of individuals are knitted around the family. So understanding the transgenerational dysfunctional pattern of a family is a way to go. Working with the entire family and not just individual is one way to understand the persons and the person's problems. So change can occur through cognitive, behavioral, emotional, physical, and then psychological. In general, family system counseling focus on the family. Here, the family can be defined based on how close we are to family members and the emotional connections that we share. So we maintain that family's relationship is more proper term to use than family therapy, since many of the principles that we apply in the family system counseling are relational in nature. So we compare both individual counseling and family system counseling. And we see with the individual counseling, we focus on diagnosis. We begin the therapy immediately. We focus on the causes and the purposes, and as well, the cognitive, behavioral, and then the emotional processes. We are also concerned with the individual experiences and perspective, and intervention is based on individual coping. But then, when we go to the family systems, we explore the family dynamics. We invite other members of the family to come on board. We focus on how the family interact through relationship. We are concerned with the transgenerational influences, the cultural influences, the community perspective. And lastly, it's about the context within which the issues occur and not necessarily how we alleviate the issue. So we have a family life cycle. Family life cycle is an emotional and intellectual stage an individual passes through from the childhood to his current years or old age as a member of a family, which we term as family life cycle. And in each case or each stage, the individual faces challenges in their life that allow them to build or gain new skills, which they will use to get themselves away from problems. So gaining skills that are important in this particular angle helps you, the individual, to work through the changes that nearly every individual goes through in the family. So, not everyone passes through this stage smoothly. Some will pass through it easily, others will have blockades along the line. So, such as severe illness, financial problems, death of a loved one person, one can be influenced in one way or other. So, those who were involved in the accident last week, which you all call them bereaved, we saw how the issues occurred. So when we are engaging in therapy, it's not only the wife of the gallant man who died, but her family as a whole, because it has become a family issue. So it's a family problem, a family trauma that has occurred. So tackling it, we are counseling the family as a whole and not the individual in the family, not the child, not the wife, not the mother, the family as a whole. Because they always point to the fact that it's a family that had the issue. So according to Nichols and Davis, 2021, there are 6 stages in the family life cycle, and these include 1, living home. That is single young adult. We have the emotional process. We'll bring about a key prayer, accepting the emotional and financial responsibility for the self. Then the second order, changes in the family status, required to proceed developmentally. Here, we have differentiation of the self. Sorry, in relation to the family of the family of origin. B, we have the development of intimate peer relationships. C, establishment of self in respect to work and financial independence. The joining of the families through marriage. That's a new couple where you will leave your home to go and meet someone. Committing to the new family, and there will be blockades. So you marry for the first 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, getting to the year, the new man will now be adapting to the new woman. There may be blockades, there may be misunderstandings, but it's about time you understand it and move on. So formation of marital system, the realignment of relationship with extended families, where you can call the lady's family, the lady family can call you, the lady too can call your family too can call the lady, to create the bond, to see that you are no more like individuals, but you are a family bonding together. So all this occur to bring us. All this occur to bring us. So children come in there, you accept the responsibility as a group, you all join hands to nurture the family. So these are there as things to our understanding of individual development. So family must recognize to accommodate to the growth and change of their members. Development in any of the family generations may have an influence on one or all of the family members. So a child that heads off to kindergarten must learn to cope with a new change, and the whole family must adjust to that. Sometimes there may be resistance. So resistance, early therapists misinterpreted resistance fear as opposition to change. Sometimes we need to create a balance. As you want to change your wife, your husband to a way you want, there will always be resistance. But you need to curve a balance. You not get 100%. So family narratives reconstructing, that is reconstructing the events in life so that it will look coherent in you and allow family members to organize and make sense out of the experiences. So a family's life is shaped not only with interaction, but also with the stories they construct. So parents of a 2-year-old who tell themselves he is oppositional will view the child differently as opposed to the child who is very lively. We have major events in the history of a family. So formal intervention with families have been part of many cultures, involving formal procedures and rituals, often involving the extended family and non-kin members. So family therapy is a distinct professional practice within Western cultures, starting in the social work movement of the 19th century and the early 20th century. It was formalized in the 1940s. It was formalized in the 1940s and the 1950s with the founding of the American Association of Marriage Counselors and the work of various independent clinicians and groups. There was a strong influence from psychoanalysis, social psychiatry, and learning through the behavior therapy. Clinicians began to articulate theories about the nature and functions of the family. One of them was Gregory Bateson and his colleagues at the Palo Alto in the United States. They introduced the ideas from cybernetics and the general system theory into social psychology and psychotherapy, focusing on the role of communication. So cybernetics is about the role of communication. So this approach involved a traditional focus on individual psychology and historical factors, which emphasize on feedback. And then the balance, that is the homeostasis mechanism, which bring about rules and the here and now interactions. It was also influenced by the work of US psychiatrists and hypnotherapists by name Milton H. Erickson. With them, the Bateson Project had a particular interest in the possible psychosocial causes and treatment of schizophrenia. Their research in terms of research on psychiatrists and psychoanalysts by Lehman Wen and Theodore Lees, they brought about the issues of communication deviance and the roles in families of schizophrenics. The schizophrenics are those whom you see by the roadside who go along and be eating in the gutters, eating from the gutters, dressing from the environment, and then doing things in a dirty way that do not go in the right way that we all know. So this system come together as a group, they join hands to see how things are done. So by the mid 1960s, a number of schools or institutions have had the interest in family therapy. So they started proposing how to approach the issues. And remember, they are always subjective in nature. So experiential approaches were proposed, intergenerational therapies were equally proposed by individuals. The experiential ones are those that are subjective, where we talk about those whose feelings are unexpressed. They are not known. So authentic communication, spontaneity, creativity, total therapeutic engagement, which were being proposed by scholars. The intergenerational therapy were proposed as well. Then the psychodynamism proposed by Freud was also championed in order to unearth the unconscious mind regarding to issues that occur in people's life. Later, the multiple family group therapy equally came so that we can have a pragmatic view of the situation, targeting it from several angles. Coming to the late 1970s, saw a lowered stand and not too stringent on issues, where we need to divide the situation into how it comes. That is a demarcation between schools and how issues are interrogated, how we can bring on board several ideas, several perspectives, the alleviation of problems. So this was influenced by debates and critiques from various sources. The feminists have their view, the postmodernism also have their views, and the foreshadowing of situations. So we have the post-systems constructivists and the social constructionists who equally propose approaches in handling situations so that there will not be, let's say, a tango between or among people who are fighting for superiority in situations of family systems. So the family therapy has been influential in psychotherapy. When a survey was conducted among 2,500 US therapists around 2006, it revealed that 10 of most influential therapists of the previous quarter century, 3 were prominent family therapists. So it means if you bring 10, 3 out of which were family therapists. And what about the other angle? Meaning they saw family therapy to be a significant component of us, which will help people to get away from problems that they never even thought for themselves. So the multicultural, intercultural, and integrative activities are being developed, and there's a growing movement towards a single generic family therapy, which you and I too can come together to help. So the early idea, we have the experiential family therapy by Carl Whittaker. He stressed on choice, freedom, self-determination, growth, and actualization. He stated that the personal involvement of the therapist with the family made a difference. So you involving yourself in the family in terms of the therapy will make a difference in terms of alleviation. We have Alpha Adler. He emphasized on bad order. Family often become locked in repetitive and negative interactions based on where you belong. So first son, second son, third son. And you can check from family, first sons are stupid and last sons are foolish. But within the middle, there are those that go through the pain and the rest, because more attention is not on them. So they look at all this before they proffer a solution to your problem. We have the Murray Brown, the multi-generational therapy. He worked with families affected by schizophrenia. And he say how schizophrenia became a part of you, whether it's a family issue or that. So it's able to sort from here, sort from there, and it's a process of triangulation. So differentiation of the self too was proposed by him. We had a structural strategic family therapy by Salvador Munichin and J. Haley. They seek to recognize the dysfunctional and problematic structures in family. How a family becomes dysfunctional. They don't get time for you, and you develop into abnormality. We also have the Rudolf Dreikes. He refined the views of Alpha Adler to also come on board with his own. So he came with what? Clients are treated as experts in their own lives, meaning before they solve your problem, you are the one who knows the solution. So if a weed smoker is involved in some behavior that are not good, to solve that problem, the weed smoker must be involved, but they know what they do to get that problem. And when that thing is done, then they can be alleviated. The therapist is active in aiding the clients to take a stand against what oppresses them. So what would you do to solve your own problem is the question that we must ask. And that is the view from Rudolf Dreikes. We had the human validation process model by Virginia Satir. The Virginia Satir emphasized on the importance of communication and meta-communication in families. He valued therapeutic validation and the process of change. And that ends our first lecture on family systems therapy. Going forward will be the other ones, of which we all will come on board to combine ideas and end it. On this note, have this for now.